Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are at Challenge Daytona, the PTO 2020 Championship, brought to you by Captiva Spine, John Hall Chevrolet, USA Triathlon, Foundation Risk Partners, and the PTO, the Pro Triathletes Organization. Our next guest, Dr. Matt Hanson, joins us. Hi, Doc. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
So let's talk Ironman Florida, since obviously for the second year in a row, that was a hell of a race.
It was a fast day, definitely.
And so you had, what, 3 of you? How many people under 8?
I think there was 5 of us under 8.
5 under 8. Chris Lieberman wins it, but you were 12 minutes down off the bike.
Yep.
And you ended up how far back?
About 90 seconds down at the end, yeah.
Wow.
So just couldn't seal the deal. I had brought it within about 90 seconds around mile 22, and then just lost the battle to nutrition and started cramping a bit. And so, I just wasn't able to close any more time. And then, of course, Sam was
Sam's coming back on you.
Yeah,
He's 50
I had
seconds
passed
behind
him.
you.
Yeah, I passed him and put a minute and a half on him, and then he had a great back half.
Yeah.
And I went to kind of just get to the finish line mode and had to pick it up a bit in the last mile because he was closing pretty hard.
That's fun. I mean, it's fun afterwards.
Yeah, after the fact, for sure.
Like,
I mean, we got our Kona slot, and we can
all
say
3 got your Kona slot.
Oh, Sam already had one. So
Okay.
Andy Dreitz, who was 4th, got his as well. So there's 3 slots there, and then Chris and I and Andy all got ours.
Love it.
Yep.
So you became a pro in 2014.
Yes.
What got you from the amateur ranks to pro ranks? What
A revenge race, actually.
Really?
So my first pro race was Arizona 2013, actually. So the end of the season there, I went to Kona as an age grouper.
Right.
And was leading the age group on the bike and ended up with 3 flats. And so just watched, everything kind of go, all the goals for the season kind of go away. And so I didn't really, I was a professor on a tenure track, and I didn't really plan on racing pro, but the only way I could get another race in on that build was to take the pro card, and then so I could race Arizona a couple weeks later.
You couldn't have got in as
I wouldn't have been able to get in and really see what I could do on that fitness. I thought I was fit, and so I really just wanted a race to go out on, and that's why I took the card.
And that turned out to be a pretty good year because you set 3 run course records and 1 Ironman Chattanooga.
Yeah, 2014 was a great year. I thought it was going to be a hobby, and at Ironman Texas, it was the first time I had ever gotten a paycheck for doing my hobby, which I thought was great, and ended up running like a 2:42 there, and that's kind of when I realized that maybe this could be more of a part-time job. And then I won Chattanooga at the end of 2014, and got the that just kind of slingshotted things forward. And I ended up resigning from my professor job right after winning the North American Championships in 2015.
Was that hard?
Yeah, it was definitely hard. I mean, I love teaching. The coaching has kind of filled that void. I didn't love the university politics as much, and it's nice not grading papers at 10 o'clock at night anymore. But I definitely miss the classroom every now and then. And honestly, I had just been granted tenure, so I just had to put in 6 more months, and then it would have been a done deal. And so that was the hardest part, is going for a kind of a stability to, who knows what's going to happen.
But you got to take chances in life.
Yeah, I wanted to look back and know rather than look back and wonder what if. And so I made the leap and struggled a little bit out of the gates to adjust to, I went from being very process focused and doing it because I loved it, and it was a stress reliever, to now this is my only form of income. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform, and I was focusing more so on performance, and started racing really poorly. And so it took a while to kind of relearn to get back to the process mindset, and then I've since 2016, the end of 2016, I've been much happier and racing much better. So,
and knowing that you're enjoying the racing, to be here, really what is basically, it's a World Series of Triathlon. You've got Olympic gold medalists, you got ITU world champions, you've got 70.3 champions, you got Ironman champions.
Yeah, I mean, we've
guys like yourself who've gone 7:39.25 and run 2:34. All of them here. Right.
I mean, we've got the best at all the distances, all on one day, in a format that, who knows what it's going to bring. With the 20-meter draft, it changes the game on the bike, and the ITU are going to change the game. Those guys are going to swim really hard, and put some major time into people like me out of the gates. So it's just going to be interesting dynamic. Who knows how it's going to unfold?
A 50-mile time trial with in a circle when you know there's going to be wind in your face, half of it.
Yes.
And 20-meter draft rule.
Yes.
It's a little bit of an equalizer.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think there's not many courses where you just stay pinned in the bars for 50 miles. You always get turns or little uphills where you can get a break or aid stations where you can stretch the back out a little bit. So I really think the last 30 minutes on the bike are going to have a lot to do with deciding, who can really stay in a good aero position.
Right.
And,
and a lot of people who are really good runners will not be really good runners getting off the bike.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Because, again, you have not changed position in a couple hours.
Yeah, exactly. And, who knows what the wind is going to do, but, yesterday was
howling.
Pretty tough.
Yeah.
We're racing at 2 in the afternoons, so it'll be the higher wind point of the day. So it'll be cooler, so the heat won't be a major factor, but definitely the winds.
And you like that. This is going to be fun for you.
Definitely fun, yeah.
Yeah. 7:39:25 ran 2:34. Was that Texas?
Yeah, Texas in 18.
And now, what do you look at as your best ever race?
I mean that's
it.
That's hard to beat. I came off the bike, and there's a lot of guys that could run really well there. I think there were 7 of us that ran under 230 or 245 that day, and I had a guy that just ran in my shadow all day long. I think he ran 235 mid. I finally got away from him at mile 25 and a half. So literally he was in my back pocket
the whole time.
And he didn't really speak English, so we didn't say a word to each other the entire time. It was just a battle, and it was a lot of fun after the fact.
Well, So you got away, in the last half mile?
Yeah, with just under a mile to go. There was a little downhill section, and it's now or never. And I put in, he was an ex-ITU guy, so I knew he could sprint. I didn't want to
be coming down.
I didn't want to be going down the chute, after 26 miles at 550s. So I put a little surge in, and it felt like it was this massive surge. I go back and look at my Garmin file; it's barely a little
blip,
but it was enough to get away.
So you've probably raced Alistair Brownlee.
At Kona is the only time I think I've seen
Vincent
him.
Louise.
No,
Johnny Brownlee. I mean, there's a lot of these guys you've never seen before.
A lot of unknown,
which is fun.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So in 2020, you won Ironman Campeche 70.3, second at the Bear Lake Brawl, which was funded by PTO.
Correct.
And 5th at Ironman Cozumel. So,
Cozumel 70.3, yep.
Yeah, so you were able to get some racing in.
Yeah, I mean, this is my sixth triathlon of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've 6 more than most of us.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are here with their first one. I was able to squeeze Campeche in, which, everything shut down. The world changed from the time I got on the flight to go to Mexico to the time I got back. It was getting out was easy, getting back was not.
Right.
And so, then there was a lot of shutdown. But as soon as things got going, I was healthy and chomping at the bit to race. And, the PTO put on a couple of events.
Put some money out there.
And just made it possible for us to go and, at least have even if we have a average performance, we can break even. No one loves paying to work. So, having the opportunity to make a living instead of waiting for, something to happen.
So as a guy who's in his mid-30s, losing this year is hard, right? Because you're sort of right in your sweet spot. And coming off of 2019, where you were 4th in Campeche and 2nd at Galveston and 5th at Ironman Texas and 3rd at Chattanooga and 1 Boulder with 7:57, run course record, overall course record. You're coming off a great year.
Yeah.
And then the world stops.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming off a great year. Then I had a stress fracture in my sacrum leading into Kona.
Yeah.
So, a lot of rehab and a lot of work went into getting back into good form. And I showed I was in good form at the beginning of the year in Campeche. And then, just to have all that just kind of pull back, we had to just get creative and try to keep the training interesting. Be really flexible. I planned on racing in Australia.
Yeah.
Pulled the pin on that when that canceled. Then it was St. George, and then it was Boulder 70.3, and they just one after one was taken off the table, and so it was just keeping a positive mindset despite all that was going on. And
were you able to keep that positive mindset and keep training? Because that's so hard when you're gearing up. So much of our season is gearing up for a race, doing the race, recovering from a race, gearing up for the next one. All that,
for sure.
It becomes steady state, right?
Yep.
It's like, Okay. This
Yeah.
is Groundhog Day. I'm going to go train
pretty
again.
much, pretty much. I think the focus, when you're focusing on the process,
Yeah.
that helps. Like, I love the daily grind and just, ticking each box green and training peaks. That's one of the best things about this sport for me, is just going through and doing the work. And so, again, if I flash back to the mindset that I had, in 2016 into 2015, when it was very results oriented, I would have really struggled.
Right.
But, I think just having that shift
Yes.
to be very process oriented has really helped.
So as a coach, you have to help people. As a coach, you're a therapist.
Yes,
Right? At the
very
end of
much
the
so,
day,
yes.
there's people who are on the cliff going,
Yep.
oh my God, I've been
Yep.
training. I was going to do my Ironman and it went away. What do I do? And you're obviously doing your own stuff,
Yep.
trying to keep yourself sane. This is a challenging time to be a coach.
Very much so. Yeah, for sure. I mean, my wife, I coach her, and she was going to do Ironman Arizona.
Yeah.
And it ended up canceling,
Just last week?
Yeah, just before, so she had done all the work. And it's, being that close to somebody that has that happen to, I certainly understand the frustration. And she ended up doing a whole Ironman in the basement. Went to the pool and did it, and then came back and
Yeah.
did Zwift and
Right.
ran on the treadmill. Like, it's everybody handled it a little bit differently, and it's just as a coach, you're just trying to help them
Right.
through and figure out what they need as an individual, because everybody's a bit different.
So the fact that you were a teacher, I bet the coaching aspect of this is, because we both know the sport can be very selfish, right?
Yeah,
You just go out,
definitely.
you swim, bike, run, you do your weights, you do the rest of it. But as a coach, I'm guessing that has really made this very fulfilling. Just the fact that I'm racing and I'm helping people reach their personal goals.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love the classroom, and this has definitely filled that void. It also helps me shut off from my own training. Like, I have Coach Julie and Coach Matt that take care of my training.
Right.
And I can think about other people's training. Like, when I approach, my job as an athlete is to execute workouts.
Mm-hmm.
I've built up the trust with my team.
Right.
And so, like, I have that trust. I try not to second guess or anything. I just go do the training.
Right.
And as long as I'm getting the results, I'm fully trusting the process. And so, like, the coaching side allows me to use that, the background in exercise science that I have, and just, use that education a little bit more. It wasn't a complete waste of 8 years, right?
But I love the fact that you have people coaching you.
Yes.
And then you're coaching others. So, you got Julie Dibbins?
Julie Dibbins and Matt Botchell. So Julie helps on the swim and the run, and then Matt's
the bike specialist.
Yeah, yep.
So when you do camps with Tim O'Donnell.
I'm in good company. Yeah.
You're in really good company. And last year when T.O. was dealing with a broken foot.
Yep.
And did you have a sense that he was ready for a good one?
Yeah. I spent the entire Kona build with T.O., and obviously I wasn't running at all, and he was running very little, and but yeah, he was fit.
You guys are commiserating with each
yeah,
other. We can't run.
You could tell that his head was in the right place, and he was primed for a good day.
Do you learn from that when you see, okay, I'm injured, he's injured. He didn't even know if he can get to the starting line.
Yep.
And ended up running sub 250 for the first time in his life.
Right.
And so you start wondering, what's the benefit of rest? What's the benefit of coming in maybe a little underprepared?
Yeah. Julie has pointed that out to me a number of times, just how different our approaches are. And obviously we're at different places in our career. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I've learned a ton from training with him, and hope we can continue to work. We work really well together.
Yeah.
We're very, very similar on the bike, and he's obviously well better in the water, and I can push him a bit on the run. So we train really well together, and hopefully there's a few more pre-Kona camps together.
Thanks so much, Matt, for taking time.
Thanks
Always
for
a pleasure to catch up with you.
Appreciate it.
Matt Hanson has been our guest, everybody. Breakfast with Bob, Challenge Daytona PTO 2020 Championship. Hold on. We'll be right back.